All right, peace, and blessings. Haki Ami here, the success scholar, the honor one, Asafo, Dr. Haki Shakur Ami here. Man, lots of great things going on, lots of power moves being made. Happy, got an amazing next week coming up. Big things happening, going to DC. I'm going to be in Montgomery County and DC Monday and Tuesday, and then up to New York for a UN General Assembly side event. Of course, the UN General Assembly is starting the 23rd through the 27th, I believe. So I'm going to be back and forth between New York and DC for the Congressional Black Caucus. It's time to keep moving forward, y'all, and I want you all to get your hands on this edition of the National Black Unity newspaper. It's the paper that truly has many great, powerful people in this. We covered the Universal Soul Circus, actually, on the back cover. So, lots of other things are going on. My article is on page 16. Please get yourself a copy. 16? Yes. Get yourself a copy of that. But I wanted, and I got an amazing event coming tonight. Looking forward to building and elevating and making things happen and making progress. And so I wanted to talk about this conspiracy, for instance, of what seems like some failures. The FBAs aren't making any progress. The Black Magas aren't making any progress. The PanAfricanists aren't making any progress. And how do I measure progress? Many different ways, health, community, growth, network, access to capital, resources, partners, just making power moves, right? And unfortunately, many of these different groups in Baltimore, they haven't, and the individuals, they haven't grown. And so I have to come on and sort of challenge the classical condition and the failing mentality. Because I'll give you this example. For years, I've had to, and I just want to paint a picture. I've, showed up at these different meetings, and the people are in the same place where they were 20 years ago. They don't own anything. They're not producing anything. And I sat around and I watched. I was like, wow, these people aren't making any progress. These people aren't making any progress. When I was 25 and things like that, I saw these people and I said, wow, what's going on? Why aren't these people making any progress, any tangible progress? And so I realized that, ultimately, people listen to different people, but you become who you listen to the most, who you associate with the most. And this is why I co-authored a book with Les Brown and Dr. George C. Frazier, international motivational speakers. So I create networks and options and opportunities. Oh yes, I have on my good State of the People shirt because I was very instrumental when that came to the Baltimore area. Made some things happen. I was excited for that amazing opportunity, and we have to keep on keeping on to build momentum, and so I wanted to say, just join the Mill movement, and ensure that you don't fall and keep falling and stay stuck with these different groups, for instance, that have not grown. They can't conceptualize to be able to make the right moves and the right decisions to build the right partners. And this is why, this weekend I'll be, in Baltimore County. Of course, tonight I'll be by my Montgomery. But, just really dissecting the dynamics, the demographics, the psychographics of our community and building the right allies. And sometimes, look, I put these out here for a reason. These groups, they don't generally agree with each other, right? But what they agree on is that they are going to be ideologues. They just going to stay in their one little place and make no progress. And they keeping the masses of ignorant people down. They control black radio. So Governor Wes Moore, he shouldn't come on some of these dummy shows. And here's the point, and someone tried to make it seem like I said Wes Moore shouldn't come on black radio shows. But, like, I mean, you don't have enough listeners. Like, for real. Like, I mean, why would I go on every little damn podcast out here in the world? These tiny little podcasts, these tiny little 16-watt digit radio programs to talk to 10 people, talk to 5 people. Like, no, just listen where you can. Show up and listen. They got Charm TV. Wes Moore does press conferences all the time. Like, what do you need? I mean, what are you going to say? Some of y'all don't even go to Annapolis enough to know what is going on. You just clout chasing, right? And you want to claim that you're against Governor Wes Moore just so all the anti-Wes Moore people, you can get some money, right? See, that's part of the grift. You got to look up this book called The Grift. The rise of the black conservative from the age of Lincoln to the cult of Trump. See, this is what people have evolved into. And for you all that's on YouTube, look up Young Pharaoh, where he was going to speak at this, he was supposed to speak at, the boy that just died, Charlie Turner. They do it every year in D.C., that conference. Turning Point, not Turning Point, I might be Turning Point, but APAC, that's American Israeli. No, I'm thinking about that CPAC conference that's it was sometimes in DC, sometimes at National Harbor, but that's the conservatives and the alt-right borderline or whatever. So these black folks trying to survive, for instance, in Baltimore, they got to build these little cults. And so they know that people don't read. They know that, see, I read at everyone's place. So I've read the Claude Andersons, the Amos Wilsons, and I've been to the lectures. I brought speakers, conscious speakers. I go to conferences in D.C., go to the Power Networking Conference, the Black Enterprise Conference. And see, so what's happening is, they are overdumbing me. They're ignorant and they old and they can't evolve because they didn't do things like how I did in my 30s, 40s, 50s, so that I can have a broad strategy. I can have a broad strategy to be able to build the right allies and to excel more and try to bring people along, but these people are too far gone, they too far behind, and so they keeping the people ignorant because it's all about being an ideologue. It's all about talking bad about what a black leader haven't done. But these are the same people. These are the same people that couldn't raise their their nephews. The other Wes Moore's nephews, and this is the one that was on the video. This dude, he robbed a bank and is a cop killer. A cop killer. I grew up in Baltimore, in the hood in Baltimore. None of the people that I knew, it takes an extreme, insane mentality. It's to be a cop killer. And so I just put that out there because, unfortunately, many people are dead and they don't see themselves as making any progress ever in life. And so there are a lot of old Negroes, for instance, and they think old and they can't evolve. They can't, coalesce or build a coalition with people who may not know or have the particular knowledge that you do. So they read a few books, right? And they target the undereducated, poor people. So these are and they bully them with their little bit of knowledge. See the difference between me and them. And sometimes, they've helped me. I'm from the hood, but I made it my business to say that I needed to make progress, right? And unfortunately, these people, they won't ever own anything. They won't ever produce anything. They don't build alliances. They're not connected in our community. They just yap on radio. They just yap on black radio and get the old Negroes, because not many people even listening to black radio no more, right? People are on YouTube. People are looking at Instagram. People are looking at their TikToks all day long. And so I don't do a whole lot of, YouTube and Facebooks and all of that, so I mean, but ultimately I get the invites. I get enough. I get enough to come and be around the right quality people. So, these people, they have been deprived of a community. They've been deprived of a network of positive and successful individuals that are, making progress out here in our community. And so they want to keep people ignorant so that they can keep listening to them, so that they can get a little bit of money out of them. And this is the FBAs, the PanAfricanists, and the Black Magas coalitions that are operating, for instance, in the Baltimore area. And so I'm just curious, like, and there's many of them, they're so depressed in their mind that they don't even know what is an appropriate level of engagement. And so when you have, the other Wes Moore's family calling Governor Wes Moore and Brandon Scott two girls, like, that's so inappropriate and childish, immature. But these people, I mean, they don't have like any, I didn't complete college, but they don't have like no civility. They still on a level of hood, Baltimoreized, where they didn't grow intellectually, where they able to perhaps have an intelligent discourse. It's all about grunting and, but it's really anger and frustration because they upset that they failed their family members, right? And they failed themselves, and they looking for people to blame. They looking for Wes Moore to blame for, the crime in the city. They looking for Mayor Scott to blame for these issues. And my thing is, look, people doing the best that they can. Let's believe that. But see, what they do, they are more happy to attack black people on behalf of white folks. See, this is what these Black Magas are doing. They are attacking black people on behalf of these white neo-Nazi, these white conservatives, because they starting to get a little bit of money and a little bit of attention, and so they get on Fox News and they can start browsing, they can start, getting a little bit of dough. You know what I'm saying? See, and that's what happened to Young Pharaoh. If you are online, New York Young Pharaoh, he kind of shifted from, rolling with SETI to, being like a QAnon conspiracies. And where is he now? He's gone out of sight, out of mind, just lost his damn mind. So these people, they not like sophisticated, y'all. These people are not sophisticated, and they don't. Black radio has died and dead. And Wes Moore, he may come on somebody's show if people like do a professional outreach. You can't just, you need to come on my show, and then they look at it and just be like, man, I ain't coming on that damn Ricky Dink show. I got real stuff going on, like real issues, and everybody have to discern how they manage their time. Everybody, people need to spend time with their families, man. See, some of y'all don't have no families, and you didn't have any bonds, so you think people supposed to be out in the streets all day. That's what police are for. That's what civil servants are for, community activists, social workers. But no, Wes Moore has a lot of things to do. And no, he may not be able to come on your show whenever you think he should be coming on. Like, I don't know why you would think, just because you just pop the hell up and get a podcast, some rinky-dink podcast. That's like me telling, hey, Wes Moore, hey, you want to come on my live stream, brother? Like, really? Just because it's Radio 1 or whatever, like that, if that's your thing, but show that you have some qualitative numbers. I mean, like, he don't know who the hell you are. Like, build some credibility, build some clout, build some respect, build a voice that people listen to you. But to talk to 10 people, 6 people, 7 people that listen to the radio, that call in, like, don't nobody have time for that, man. And they definitely not going to call in on no. Would you ask President Obama to call in, like, on your radio show? Like, let's just be real. Like, people can't, like, just go and just jump on everybody's podcast and show up to everybody event when they say so. See, these people, these caller-ins are ignorant too. They don't grow anywhere, and honestly, many of them just gonna stay where they are because they don't have nothing to do. They just want to call in on the radio and just say, oh yeah, Wes Moore should be coming on the show. Yeah, we're gonna be angry. A good friend of mine called him the angry old people show. Yeah. And I'm just like, and that's why you'll never get some of the young people, because you aren't moving them. You aren't moving them to build something for themselves, for their future, right? You have nothing to offer. You don't have no allies. You don't have no partners. You have limited cash flow. So ultimately, people out here starving. People are starving. They want jobs. They don't need your gossip. People want opportunities. They don't need you just talking about what somebody not doing for you. Huh? They need to learn how to do something for themselves. That's what do for self mean. Teaching some job readiness skills and connecting them to the right people. See, this is the problem that we have, man. And I've watched these angry, dead activists. They're just talkers, man. They just talk all the damn time. They just talk. And I watched it for years. I'll give you this key example. Some years ago, Steve Coakley was in town. This is where I started. See, let me give y'all a little story. Like, sometimes you have to recognize when you are a little different. Like, I remember being in the Navy, and I was like 21, and I was hanging with people that were like serious drinkers, like that had like, they were E1s, E2s, and they were like drinking. They had like 3 children. They were living in like low apartments, and they had some rough little wives and things. And I was just, sometimes I would like hang out with them, and sometimes this is when I was evolving, reading books, and I started realizing, like, I'm not like them. I can't, I'm not stuck. Like, no way I would marry something like that. Like, no way would I have 3 damn children and be an E1, E2, and hell, still getting food stamps. I was a personnelman, PN, personnelman. Some of the E1s, E2s, E3s still in the Navy, they were getting food stamps, and some of them, they would go and get 20% interest on a car note just to, they were still living rough. Like, the military just don't make you rich. Like, it barely give you enough to survive. Like, add to that, alcohol and and dysfunctional families. Man, I done seen so many crazy service records over my time, and that just mentioned. Let me just, for those that want to poke holes at Wes Moore's record, I was a personnel man, a PN. Now I don't know what the MOS is called for the Army or whatever, but admin, administration, that's what they call it. But I know that these service records, I mean, I still have nightmares. I was on the aircraft carrier. I still have nightmares about being out at sea, having service records piled up to here. Sometimes we didn't even have enough room for the damn service records. And I know that some things didn't get into some of those records. Not that people weren't doing their jobs, but the demand, and it just was a lot of work, and sometimes they, trying to calculate manning, et cetera, but the work still had to get done. So sometimes we would be working 6 days a week, 12-hour days, like 7 in the morning till 7 at night. And we would have off Sundays. Sometimes we would come in on Sundays and work a couple extra hours when we were out at sea. I mean, I was blessed that I ain't have no crazy labor intensive job, so it was kind of cool. We would go sneak breaks and go on lunch breaks. At time, sleep for a couple of minutes, get a little power nap in. But bringing that up, I just wanted to, just mention that. But, and then, like, later on, for instance, in Baltimore, I remember, like, Steve Coakley, I remember when he came to town, all of these folks piled up, probably like 50 of them, in the back of Everyone's Place bookstore, and the outside, and all of them paid $20. But like a few days later, like a week later, man, I spent a lot of money on some advertising dollars on this rinky-dink radio show, on this radio station. I blasted a lot of commercials, and a few people came. But none of the people came. You had an opportunity to go and network for free and learn something about financial literacy. And then I realized, what? Some people are just going to remain poor. Some people are just going to remain poor. I don't know what is going to, I took a class later. I took Know Your Money, and then I took, who's the one? He's kind of big now. Oh man, I can't remember his name, but he's doing a lot of videos. He's out in LA. He's doing something with George Frazier now, but he's big, and I became a certified trainer with him, taught some young people, but just some basic money management skills, and I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some big, guru or whatever. Like, look, I still, work, and I try to elevate myself. I try to elevate my knowledge and show up at places and think about building something for myself. Like, and so these people, they've given up on themselves. So their whole goal in life is to find somebody to blame for themselves, to find somebody to blame for their life's failures. And I know it can be painful to look and say, damn, I screwed up my whole life, because I feel like I've messed up a lot. I messed up a lot of things, had people around me that they just didn't have the wisdom, the maturity, and they didn't have the right mentors that cared about them. And I still may not have some of the right mentors, but what I do is I listen to smart people, and I try to position my knowledge, my experience, and my skills into the right spaces. And so after I did all these commercials, like, not a single one of those people showed up. So these people want to just hear about conspiracies. They want to just blame everyone, and they want to extract what little bit of money they can from the white conservative movement and or from whoever, the ignorant black angry old Negroes that barely can barely taking care of their children or whatever, but they calling on radio, thinking they being wise, thinking they being conscious, but they not truly building anything, and they not connecting to the right people. See, it's different when you read the right books, but then you show up to apply what you've learned. And that's the difference between me and some of these people. I show up and I take things in like, oh, okay, this is practical. This is what somebody is doing, like truly, and they're winning. So sometimes you can't come up in some places. Yeah, I'm the Prince of PanAfricanists or I'm the FBA or I'm a Black Maga, and y'all need to listen to me, and I'm angry, and let's blame Wes Moore, y'all. Come on, let's get him. Let's blame Wes Moore, and all the little ignorant people just follow behind. See, this is how propaganda works. It don't have to be true. It don't have to be based on no fact, no reality, not any comprehension whatsoever. But people have to have a little bit of finesse, a little bit of abilities to communicate, to get the ignorant masses to follow. And that's what some of these folks in Baltimore are doing. They following these little urban cult hood ghetto scholars. I'm gonna call them what's his name? What's the brother who used to say the ghetto scholars? Oh man, True Islam. Dr. Dr. Wesley Muhammad. He created the term ghetto scholars because he said that some of these folks, they'll read something and then next week they'll do a lecture on it. Hold on, let me pause for a second. Shit. Sorry. Alright, so that's all I wanted to say, y'all. But definitely get your hands on the National Black Unity newspaper. We're making progress. Got a big event tonight. Looking forward to it. We're doing actually 2 events, something with the Nigerian community as well. So we definitely looking forward to that. So making progress, y'all. Progress is being made. Stay connected to the Rise of the Success Scholar. Let's build a true conscious movement. Hope to see you all, some of you at the Diaspora Day on the Hill, or some of perhaps the CBC events, or even in New York at the UN General Assembly. So, a lot of different events with ECOSOC, happening up there. So I'm looking forward. So progress is being made in many of those spaces. So definitely, but a powerful event. And I want you all to set up to join me on November the 14th at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. I'll be on a panel, part of the Black Men's Night. Definitely be a powerful event. So stay connected, stay tuned into the Rise of the Success Scholar. Peace and blessings.